Have you ever been surrounded by ridiculously hot guys trying to flirt with you? If you're a pretty girl, probably. But what if they were goth boys? And somehow, I accidentally stumbled right into a pack of them. It was a total disaster. I spilled milk all over one of them, panicked, tried to wipe it off, tripped, and accidentally ripped his shirt wide open, exposing these insane, sculpted abs. What kind of negative karma was I paying for? Terrified, I hugged my backpack and sprinted away like an Olympic track star while the crowd booed me. Why was I even there? Let's hit rewind. Hi, I'm Raine, 17-year-old, and I live with the absolute best single mom in the universe. For a while, life was beautiful. My mom finally met this perfect guy. We thought we got our happily ever after, but plot twist, he was a textbook scam artist. He lied, cheated, drained every single penny my mom had, and vanished into thin air, leaving us completely broke and broken. He was literal trash. And since then, my heart officially closed. To me, true love is literally the biggest pyramid scheme in human history. Luckily, I still had my full ride scholarship to this insanely elite, snobby private school. So, on my first day, I grabbed a carton of milk my mom packed for me, ready to conquer the day. But my bad luck wasn't done with me. One shove from the hallway crowd and bam! The milk incident happened. I thought I was safe once I found my classroom. Nope, I was in the exact same class as them. They were the Goth Devils, the school's infamous trio. Group leader, Klay, the arrogant e-boy who lived for clout and TikTok views. He loved lively places to show off and especially enjoyed flirting with girls with sweet, sugary words that made them fall into his arms. Besides that is Bob, the quintessential goth boy clique, the ultimate embodiment of a toxic sad boy who always seems to need others' protection and sympathy, then exploits them for his own benefit. And the guy I crashed into? That was Raine, classic goth, quiet, brooding, and dripping with this mysterious vibe with a captivating, sharp gaze that makes anyone who sees him wary, but also arouses a desire to conquer him. I thought they were going to end me. But instead, Raine, who had changed his shirt, quietly placed a brand new carton of milk on my desk and sat right behind me. On my left, Klay gave me this overly dramatic, flirty wink. On my right, Bob handed me a bouquet of dark flowers. The entire class went dead silent in shock. My heart had dropped straight into my stomach. Oh no, this wasn't a revenge plot. This was so much worse. All three of them started pursuing me, but honestly, it felt like a highly coordinated torture session. Klay was up first, the arrogant e-boy. Hanging out with him wasn't a date. It was a content creation strategy. He dragged me to these painfully loud underground concerts, forced me to run around the city vandalizing things, and acted like an absolute all while live streaming to his thousands of followers. After just one day with him, my social battery was in the deep negatives, and my entire body was literally aching. If Klay brought me down physically, then Bob was the psychological warfare. The goth boy clique sad boy somehow found out I worked part-time at this tiny coffee shop. He'd show up, slouch at the counter, and start trauma dumping his fake, miserable life stories on me while I was working myself to exhaustion. He literally begged me to go to street thrift stores. When it was time to pay, he's staring at me with those puppy dog eyes, trying to manipulate my pity. But here's the thing. I was a girl who had actually lost everything. But I was a girl who had truly lost everything. And yet, he was here trying to portray me as a victim, making me so upset I could barely breathe and burst into tears right in the middle of the store. He panicked so much, he almost ran away and let me go home. Toxic boys really don't know what to do when you outcry them. Okay, so thanks to Klay and Bob's absolute clownery, my GPA was literally in the trenches. I was exactly one bad essay away from kissing my full-ride scholarship goodbye. I was sitting in the library, completely spiraling, hitting rock bottom. And then, enter Raine. Raine is this quiet, deep, classic goth guy who is perpetually buried in an Edgar Allan Poe book. Honestly, it was the first time in my entire life that someone just reached out to help me with absolutely zero strings attached. He quietly sat down next to me and slid over this stack of insanely meticulous notes to help me with my paper. You guys, he's like a walking encyclopedia. I was literally in awe. I had no idea he was that smart. We started brainstorming, and it hit me. Raine and I are weirdly alike. Like, scary similar. We knocked out that essay so fast, and boom, scholarship saved. Never in a million years did I think I'd end up bonding with the resident goth boy. By the time we finished, it was super late, and he just naturally offered to walk me home. We didn't even talk much. It was just this really comfortable silence walking side by side. Suddenly, this soft acoustic track starts playing. I wrote it, he whispered, looking at me with the softest smile. Thump. My heart literally skipped a beat, but I immediately shut it down. Honestly, I was just shocked that my completely wrecked heart could even flutter for someone again. Ever since the whole toxic disaster with my mom and my stepdad, my faith in love is completely gone. It's just way too painful. I promised myself I would never let my guard down again. Plus, he's still tied to that specific friend group, so I tried to pull away. I really tried to low-key avoid him, but Raine just kept showing up in my life in the gentlest ways possible. For a few weeks, things were actually nice. Raine brought me up to this abandoned rooftop at sunset, his favorite secret spot. I don't know what came over me, but I spilled everything. My mom, the scammer dad, my trust issues, all of it. Raine didn't just listen. He promised to help me track down the guy who ruined my mom's life. Then he looked at me, his voice barely a whisper, and told me he really liked me. We were inches away. It was literally a movie scene romantic. And then the door kicked open. "Congrats, bro! You won the game!" Klay shrieked, throwing a literal stack of cash at Raine. $1,000, just like we promised. Bob was wheezing with laughter, pointing right at my face. "Man, we gotta celebrate. Look at her. What an absolute loser." The world stopped spinning. Raine panicked. He reached out. "Raine, wait, it's not." Smack. My hand met his cheek so hard my palm burned. I was never the exception. I was just the jackpot. I ran all the way home and locked myself in my room. Crying over boys? That's for amateurs. Operation Ruin the Goth Devils was officially a go. Klay went down first. Remember those copy-pasted DM screenshots from earlier? I didn't just drop them in the cafeteria. I posted them to the entire school forum, tagging every single fake girlfriend he had going on. Watching the arrogant e-boy get absolutely swarmed and beaten up with designer handbags by a mob of furious girls was literally free therapy. Next was Bob. I posted his pathetic, fake sob story on the school's main portal, begging everyone to donate to the tragically poor principal's son. His dad, the actual principal, was so incredibly humiliated that he dragged Bob by the ear through the hallway, screaming about cutting off his allowance. Sad boy Bob was officially grounded for eternity. 2 down, 1 left. Raine found me by my locker. He looked awful, exhausted. He opened his mouth to apologize, to explain, but I didn't let him. Looking at him hurt too much, so I turned my pain into poison. "Save it," I spat, making sure my voice was loud enough for the hallway to hear. "You're honestly worse than Klay and Bob. At least they were obvious about being trash. You played the deep, sensitive guy just to win a cheap bet. You're all the same." I saw the exact moment his heart broke. His eyes went completely dead. He didn't defend himself. He just nodded, swallowed hard, and quietly walked away. I won. I destroyed all of them. So why did I feel like I was the one bleeding out? But life literally loves a sick joke. The very next day, I found out I had to pass a mandatory swimming test to keep my full-ride scholarship. There was just one tiny problem. I'm a literal land animal. I sink like a rock. The coach told me she assigned the school's top swimmer to tutor me. I turned around and my jaw actually dropped. It was Raine, but ungothed. No heavy black eyeliner, no intimidating metal chains, just wet hair, a ridiculously handsome face, and those exact same sculpted abs I had accidentally exposed on my first day. I was staring. I was literally buffering like a broken computer. But then my pride kicked back in. I stomped my foot, demanded a new tutor, and threw a complete diva fit. The coach wasn't having it. Furious, I huffed, spun around to storm off, and Splash! I slipped on a puddle and fell straight into the deep end. Panic consumed me. Water was filling my lungs and everything went dark. But before I could completely fade out, these incredibly strong arms wrapped around my waist and pulled me to the surface. I was coughing, gasping for air on the wet tiles. When I finally opened my eyes, I saw Raine. He was wincing, clutching his leg. In his rush to dive in and save me, he had smashed his leg against the sharp stone edge of the pool. It was bleeding badly. He didn't care about his leg, though. He was looking at me, completely breathless, asking if I was okay. My heart completely shattered. The infirmary was dead silent. We were lying in beds next to each other. I never knew about their bet, Raine. His voice was raw, trembling slightly. I noticed you on day 1, when you literally ripped my shirt open. You were so chaotic, but so real. I wasn't playing a game. Every time I sat with you, every song I shared, I just genuinely wanted to be your boyfriend. He handed me the truth, absolutely terrified, but completely defenseless. I looked deep into his eyes. There were no manipulative smirks, no narcissistic lies, just pure, unfiltered honesty. Just as my entire worldview was crumbling, his phone buzzed. He answered it, and honestly, it was the craziest plot twist of my entire life. Remember when he promised to help me on that rooftop? He wasn't just saying that to sound like a good guy. He actually did it. The guy on the phone was his older brother, an actual private detective. Raine had asked him to track down my scammer dad, and guess what? They found him. He was officially in police custody for fraud. Not only that, but his brother managed to recover all of my mom's stolen assets, plus a massive settlement for emotional damages. My mom and I didn't have to struggle to survive anymore. The nightmare was over. I looked at Raine. He literally gave me my life back, quietly and asking for nothing in return. I didn't even try to find the words. I just slipped out of my bed, crawled into the narrow space next to him, and wrapped my arms around him as tightly as I could. Our first kiss was an affirmation that we were ready for a new, happy journey. What about you guys? Are you still busy building massive walls to keep everyone out? Or are you finally brave enough to let someone in? Don't forget to hit follow and give our podcast channel a 5-star rating so you don't miss any of the exciting drama each week. Thank you for listening.